It was the summer of 1989. I can remember it vividly. I was just a little girl outside playing with my friends, and we were about to put on a parade. We were so excited. We wanted to invite everyone. So we made a simple parade flyer, which I diligently distributed. In fact, I can recall dropping that flyer down a sewer grate, that very same road, just a few days prior to the parade. My intended recipient, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you aren't familiar, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lived in the sewers. The four turtle brothers, Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, they were trained in ninjutsu to fight evil by their leader, Splinter. So as I watched that flyer fall, I was positive that the turtles would show up. Sadly, the parade went on, sans the turtles. But I couldn't help but wonder, could the turtles hear us down below the street? Could they hear the stomping of our feet, the banging of those drums? What I didn't know is that there were actually complex systems at work delivering power, water, and communication to every home along that street. It was the hidden, human-created world beneath our feet. So let's take a closer look at those systems. For example, that sewer grate. Well, it likely existed 40 plus years before that parade ever took place. So let's say we lift up that grate. What might we see? Well, it'll look like a chimney. And depending on the design of the system below, it could drop down 2 or up to 20 feet. Hence, the panic that ensues when a family of ducklings crosses over the top, slips below the cracks. From this opening in the system, the network of piping down below is like a whole nother world. One that to us adults carries vital services, or one that to my childhood self was home to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Childhood assumptions and storytelling likely leave us with images of how we think the world beneath our feet works. However, my schooling as a civil engineer and my practice from then until now has led me to work with underground systems for over the past 20 years. And I have a whole new appreciation of how the world beneath our feet works. These creations and advancements have been moving humans forward throughout history. Critical operations are occurring 24/7 under the ground. Important expansion efforts, maintenance projects, and initial construction are likely happening out of sight and out of mind for most. Take, for example, clean drinking water. The nation's oldest and still operable water system, the Schaeferston Water Company. Established in 1744, Schaeferston Water Works utilized a system of hollowed-out wooden pipes. They're still in use today. Across the nation, a lot of those first systems were made of wood, but over time, they've since been replaced with more durable materials, like cast iron or plastic. And this is just one system occurring on the world beneath our feet. There are so many more, like veins and arteries pumping goods and services into and out of every home, school, business, and industry. Right alongside water, you're sure to find a sewer system. A sanitary sewer is a network of pipes, potentially pumps, and other infrastructure designed to carry wastewater away from us. The nation's first sanitary sewer system was in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York. Brooklyn introduced this idea of the sewer in 1857. So now here we have two systems built under the ground. Conditions change over time, science evolves, and methods innovate. But the principles and practices of engineering remain solid. New rules and regulations are constantly being developed, making us more responsible with our infrastructure beneath the ground. The operations occurring underneath the ground are heavily regulated, and rightly so. I mean, there's nothing more out of sight or out of mind than a few bad decisions buried for centuries. It's awe-inspiring to imagine the possibilities that lie below the surface of the grate you drive over, or perhaps under that plastic cover your foot strikes while you're out for your morning walk. Under these covers, the possibilities are truly endless. There could be fiber optic networks, major electrical feeds, steam tunnels, catacombs, entire subway systems, moving train cars. There's highways, like the Big Dig, where vehicles travel underneath the ground. Of course, there's water and sewer. There are entire collection systems devoted to capturing rainfall and protecting us from flooding. There are even human walkways. These installations may be new, known, abandoned, duplicated, historical, all of them with their own initial construction, owner, and operations, each having their own critical life cycle and maintenance operations that must occur. Speaking of historical installation, take, for instance, this very building, the Grand Oshkosh. Story has it, there's a hidden underground tunnel that connected the theater to a nearby, but now since long gone, hotel. Performers and actors could access between the two, secretly. Can you imagine what must have been going on in that tunnel all those years ago? While the stories and accounts related to the actual existence of that tunnel and its purpose remain mixed, the point is, this is just one more installation in the ground beneath our feet. So today, we have an opportunity to become involved in the conversations that shape future infrastructure. Important discussions involving land use, zoning codes, regulations, service areas, and proposed developments are required by law to include public input. So we need you. For a little over 8 years, I've been actively managing these projects, zoning codes, considering the design of service areas. And once again, it's happened. I have a whole new appreciation, not just for the existing infrastructure, but our future needs and fitting that into the man-made world beneath our feet. Municipalities, public utilities, private utilities, regulatory commissions, we're all constantly exchanging, documenting, and logging information related to the assets that we hold beneath the ground. We do this to help plan for the future and take care of the infrastructure that we have below. As we share this information back and forth, we start to develop a picture of what the world beneath our feet looks like. In my mind, I liken it to a cake, with each owner having a piece of the cake, or maybe even a layer that runs through it. But sometimes, things start to get messy enough that it looks something more like monkey bread. You know, monkey bread. You throw the dough all in the pan. Cinnamon and sugar get mixed around. It bakes up into one gooey mess. That's how things can start to look. I mean, just picture it. You could have fiber optic network snaking under a sidewalk, and right next to it, a utility pole pops up behind the curb. Crossed with that is a water pipe from the road to every single building along that street. Screaming down the highway could be a major electrical current that darts off into a subdivision, heads under the ground, and pops up in your backyard under one of those silly-looking green pedestals. It's a lot. It reminds me of a time working for the village of Kimberly. It was the spring of 2018. The village had just completed years of design, community workshops, and visioning for the redevelopment of a former industrial site. This site was over 100 acres in area, home to a paper mill that was constructed in 1889. So the village was tasked with installing sewer and water. Later, other utilities like electricity, fiber, and gas would all follow, making this a vibrant redevelopment. But the village of Kimberly had to get started. So we put in the main sewer pipe, and it ran along the riverfront. This was no easy feat. Making matters worse was the lack of documentation that was the layered cake of the former mill site. So we get started, and I get a call at my desk. Danny, we have a problem along the riverfront. And? Well, when digging the main pipe, it seems we've struck a train tanker car. A what? Say that again? An entire train tanker car buried below the surface. What would the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have thought of this? It didn't stop there. Oh no, of course. Our sewer pipe traveled nearly the same direction as those former tanker cars. With each dig of the backhoe, we held our breath, and in the end, uncovered 2 entire train tanker cars buried beneath the surface. By then, Mother Earth had filled those tanks with groundwater. It was now mixed with petroleum, so cleanup was necessary. I will not forget the day that we pumped those tanks dry and hoisted them up out of the man-made world beneath our feet. Not a day goes by in my life and my work that I'm not thinking about the operations occurring right below me. The eyes have a way of tricking us. New growth, expansions, and developments have a way of distracting us. If we stay focused on only those new builds, new growth, and new potential, we're likely to push aside the required maintenance, marking, and management that is necessary to preserve and even improve our existing infrastructure. I provide all these examples to build an awareness of the man-made world beneath our feet and the implications they have into the future. I mean, heck, what once seemed like a really great idea to have petroleum at your fingertips on a mill site can cause heartache and cleanup decades later, if not properly managed. So let us be mindful of the assets we have beneath the ground. Let us become involved in the conversations that shape future development. For the materials that carry water to us, take waste away, allow train cars to travel underneath the ground, vehicles to pass, humans to walk through. And don't forget about those innovations and ideas that we haven't even thought of yet. They are all layered. They are all fragile. They all require maintenance, marking, and management. As a child, I I thought these assets were home to my superheroes, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But all along, it was the innovations of modern man keeping us safe, improving public health, and moving us forward. A far larger task than defeating an evil comic book supervillain.